My story starts when I was born in a segregation camp, and that's no way to start a life. It was called the Tule Lake Segregation Center. My parents really took good care of me, I know, because I know that a lot of babies didn't make it out of there. When the war broke out, although we were American citizens, 120,000 of us were sent to concentration camps.
My story starts a little bit later on in life. Pretty much grew up undocumented here in the US. In 2018, I was detained by ICE and held at the Adelanto Detention Center for 6 months. After I was released, I was put under the Alternatives to Detention Program, which is a digital surveillance program that tracks me and reports all my moves back to ICE. I can relate to the Japanese community a lot in that sense that there's been so many restrictions and there's been so many limitations that have been placed on us to the point where we become second-class citizens. Currently, I'm still under surveillance.
The detention of people and the idea of surveillance started way before the war.
I was released under one of those alternatives to detention, which at the time was first an ankle monitor, and then I had that for 7 months. Next up, they put me on another surveillance program that they have, which is an app on your phone. And every week, it uses facial recognition. So every week I take a photo and it reads biometrics and it recognizes where I am. What is the purpose of obstructing someone's life to the point where they could lose their job? Their livelihoods are being affected, their relationships, their mental health. If you didn't have anxiety before you were placed in one of these camps or in one of these alternatives to detention, if you didn't have anxiety then, you definitely will have it once you're placed under digital surveillance.
We haven't learned anything from history. I think about how disruptive life has been for you. You said for 6 months, everything stopped. And similarly, Japanese and Japanese American lives were affected for 3 to 6 years. But the fact that my parents were treated so poorly, it's in my DNA to ask questions. Why? Why are they subjected to such, in my father's case, torture, beatings, without due process? Why? And for 3 months, he was subjected to a stockade. It was the beginning of the starvation that he was getting 1 tablespoon of rice, then eventually 1 teaspoon. Starvation caused by the military police. So this led to a hunger strike. So as an American citizen, an American concentration camp, under full security, innocent of all charges, he had to hold his head up tall and fight the only way he could fight, and that was nonviolent, direct action.
And it hasn't taken me until, I think now, meeting with you and meeting with other folks, that I realized that there's so much healing to do and there's so much work to do.
If people would sit and listen to each other, it would make a big difference.